I needed a cute little intro, so here we are. I have a message for you today, and so this is something that has been on my heart for the last couple of days, and I feel like more people need to hear it. So, Hurricane Helene, if you heard about it, it actually did a really big number in the upstate area of South Carolina to a point where, even to this day, as I am recording this, there's still damage, there's still trees, debris, logs just lying on the side of the road because of how much it did to this area. But I wanted to share something that I've been noticing and that God has been bringing to my heart that I feel like many of us need, especially before we go into this new year. Y'all, we still have 20 days in December. And with that being said, there's a lot that God can do in this time. So instead of us jumping straight into, ooh, what's 2025 going to look like? What's January 1st going to look like? Or January 2nd? Because y'all know most of us are probably not going to do nothing on the 1st. We still in holiday mode. But before we get into that space of thinking about what does this next year look like, I want us to pause and look at this year. That was a side note reminder. Back to the message. Hurricane Helene happened in the final days of September 2024. And we had a tree that fell on a building across from us. And it's taken some process. It's taken quite a long time for the tree to finally come off. There was a crew that came out to take the tree off, put tarp on top of the building. There was a crew that came out to chop up that tree because they didn't really chop it up. They just took it off. There was another crew that came to pick up the debris and to line up all the logs. There was another crew that came and actually picked everything up and took it away. And so, as I was sitting outside yesterday, I was just reminded that the things that we are doing takes time. It has taken from September to the day that I am recording this, which is December, for them to finally get this tree that fell, along with some other trees, for them to finally get all these trees out. So whenever we are working on things, it's going to take time. You're working on a book. God gives you the idea. It doesn't mean that it's going to be done tomorrow. You have to do the work for it to finally be finished. The workers had to come out and take time to cut down these trees for it to finally get to this final finished product of the area being clear, the tree being off the house. And not only that, there was another part that he showed me where there was caution tape. So, because the tree on the building was not the only tree, there were also trees that had fell down in this little foresty area that we sometimes play in. And so they had caution tape up so that, kids, they get ideas, adults too, and people would walk through that area. So it was like hey, please don't walk through here, please don't play over here because we don't want anyone to get hurt. So they had caution tape. As they began to work, they would push the caution tape further and further back until the caution tape was no longer there. And God showed me that it's the same thing with what he's calling us to do. He's going to put up caution tape so we don't go further ahead of him, so that he can guide us, so that he will tell us when we're ready to move on to the next step and finally get to the finish line. And so I just feel like so many of us, because we live in this world of instant gratification, we can begin to forget that things take time. It takes time for you to build. It takes time for people to know who you are in a space that you're in when there's a whole lot of other people in that space, and they might not be like the tape. They might not be at a place yet where God has helped them to start pruning some of that stuff away to where they can even receive what it is that you are trying to tell them. So sometimes we have to allow God to work in others so that they can come to a point where when we get to them, they are more receptive to taking the information. For example, growing up, well, we ain't going back that far. Hold up. let's go a little bit for earlier in the years. Whenever I was in undergrad, I I was very nervous. I was always like a quote unquote shy kid. I was just very much to myself. And so when I got to college, I didn't know how to really handle other people who I wasn't used to like that. And so I secluded myself. I became like this very antisocial person. I'm not talking to anybody unless it's my friends. Like, I kept to myself. I wasn't sharing anything about me, none of that. And so, fast forward to today, I've made so many connections with some amazing people that if they would have met me whenever I was in my undergraduate years, we would have never gotten to the place that we are at because I wasn't ready yet. God had to work with me. God had to heal me. God had to prune me. And again, that took time. So you might be just starting out. Everybody has a starting point. You might be just starting out in a business. And yes, we all, for some reason, people think that once you say that you have a business, that the money just comes flowing easily. It does not, okay? It is a process. It is a process. It's not something that just happens once you say, all right, I'm a business owner. This is what I do. Clients, y'all hear that silence? That's how it be. So, but it takes having a marketing strategy. It takes getting out there, making connections, collaborating, networking. It takes getting clarity and solidified on what you do, how you do it, the process that you work people through. They come to you this way. What is going to be the result whenever they leave from you? There are lots of things that goes into the dreams that we have, whether it's podcasts, whether it's a book, this parenting journey. Y'all, it takes time. I just did a guest appearance on a podcast episode, which I will drop the link as soon as it drops. But I was just talking to the podcast host about how I'm telling you these things now because I've gone through it, I've experienced it, I've come over and I've gone through the process. But in the beginning, I was nowhere near here. And it's not like I've been doing this for 10,000 years. Like, one of the things that I shared just happened last month where I came out on the other side and saw, oh, okay, I can be happy in this. I can get to this place where I don't feel stressed all the time. Again, it takes time. If you don't take anything else away from this daggone video and this message, I want you to take away the fact that it takes time. No matter what it is, it's going to take time. You're creating resources. It's going to take time, especially if you are somebody who wants it to impact. And that should be all of us. Everything that we do, we should be doing it so that it brings others out, so that it brings others closer to Him. Because that is what all of our purpose is. Our purpose is to make disciples out of the nations that He brings us to. So, with that being our purpose and you actually walking in that, it's going to take time. You're not going to be able to, and I'm not saying that it's not going to happen sometimes, because sometimes we've been doing a thing for so long that it's like you get that idea, okay, whatever it is, I don't know if you're making stuff, if you're typing, whatever the case may be, y'all, but you get in this place where you can do it with ease. But when you're first starting out, you're going to have to learn some things. Continue to go through that learning curve until you get to that earning curve. Let me say that again, y'all. We have to continue going through the learning curve until we get to the earning curve. And so many of us stop when we don't understand things. When it's like, okay, I'm learning this stuff, but nothing's coming. The learning curve is going to last, and it's going to take a longer time than an earning curve is. So continue to wait in that learning curve. That doesn't mean just sit there and say, oh, I'm waiting patiently on the Lord. I'm waiting for what He's going to do. So I'm just going to sit here while I wait on the Lord. Because his word says that faith without works is dead. So if you're not actually putting in the work that he has called you to do, how can he bless it? You have to take the first step so that he can take the rest. God just needs you to do the one thing. And you know what one thing I'm talking about, because it's coming to your mind right now as I'm saying this. There's one thing that you have been holding back from doing because you don't have this. You feel like you need to go buy that. You already have everything you need. It just doesn't look like, because look, we have extraordinary ideas. And, like, for example, before I started this channel, I felt like I had to have down pack everything that I was going to talk about, every, aspect of what a YouTube channel looked like. I needed to know how to edit. I needed to have the intro video, fleshed out, perfect. I felt like I needed to have, my structure. I needed to have the little cute tidbits that, how some people, they have their communities and they have like little cute things that they sprinkle in that is more on brand. I felt like I needed to have all of that before I could start a channel. I already have what I need to start. I have my voice. I have my device that I can record on. I know how to edit. I can go in there and trim a few things. It might not be like, all the pop flash and all that kind of stuff. I'm probably still going to have some bloopers in here. But it's not what I want it to look like, but it still allows me to serve God in the way that he's calling me to. So think about what you already have in your hand. What has God already given you? Use that so that you can go ahead and begin the process. Because the longer you wait, the longer it takes for you to get to the end. So go ahead and start today. Don't wait a whole nother year, don't even wait a whole nother month or a week. If it is on your heart today and you know for a fact that it's something that God is saying, you can do this right now. It's not going to take over your capacity. Like, you're not going to feel like you're too over capacity. Like, it's not going to take up from what he's already calling you to do. Like, if it's something that you like, I know that this is what he is telling me, do it right now. Because the longer you wait, the longer your process is going to take. And the longer it's going to take for you to see the results that you've been trying to get. Start today. This was very much one of those, I need to get this out because it's been coming up too much for me and I've been sharing it with too many people not to also share it with you. So if anything that I said resonated with you, please like, subscribe, comment, and share with a mom. Share with somebody. It doesn't have to be a mom. Like, this is not a mom-specific message, but it's something for all of us to take into this new year. A mindset, a change in perspective that we all need, especially in a world where instant gratification is so big. Okay, so this has been Aaliyah, the Very Intentional Mama, with a Mama Minder. I'll catch you next time.